Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is an episode from the Tech Journey series, and I am super excited today. I am here with Esther White, and we are going to be talking about lots of beautiful things today. First up, I'd love you to actually introduce yourself, and how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me again. Thank you for
Pleasure,
inviting me. I
pleasure.
appreciate that. And I'm happy, as I said, to support another YouTube channel and someone doing things that I'm familiar with. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing well today. It's like the afternoon for me. Well, actually, almost evening time for me.
Yeah,
It's been a regular weekday, just a bit of freelancing, a mentorship session, and then the call with you.
that's absolutely cool. So, what inspired you to start your journey in tech?
Okay, well, this one is a longer one because I have to decide now which one was the actual beginning of my tech journey. Now, before strictly programming, I did have work in other fields, but for the long time, I have been actually also building a website. So let's say it must have been in 2012. So a
Okay.
while ago, I was already using WordPress.
Yeah,
I was using WordPress. I was, customizing my website. I used Weebly also. I don't know if you're familiar with, but there was a
yeah,
time when I was actually starting with drag and drop Weebly and then WordPress. And for a long time, I was using that. But I started coding later on. I mean, so for the first time, I was using WordPress, but I wasn't actually coding as much. But yeah, the thing that inspired me basically is that I have worked in other visual fields. I have worked in UI design and UX design. And I mean, I guess I consider WordPress, if you're not hands on coding, I consider it as web design more thing. And then when you go into development, you do like, you could do the plugins or the themes. This one I would consider already development. But anything that it's not coding, I would put in the category of web designing. So it was gradual. I mean, even before the gradual going into actual coding, I was gradually going closer to it. So yeah, if we think about that, it has been a very long journey. I mean, if we consider that the actual beginning,
yeah.
again, I don't know. I don't know if that's the actual beginning, but it kind of started back there. And then about 2018 is when I was already coding for sure. I mean, and around that time, I actually dropped out WordPress altogether. I'm like, I
Okay.
actually had enough of that.
Yeah,
And I didn't use the CMS. If I had the choice, I didn't
yeah,
use CMS. But basically, what inspired me, like to answer your particular question, actual thing that inspired me was that I realized that I'm already doing that a large portion of my day. I'm
yeah,
already tweaking a website, I'm already customizing a
yeah,
website, and no matter what I did aside from that, still
yeah.
the majority of the time I was, working on a website. And after this, I'm like, okay, well, if I end up doing that for such a long time, then I obviously enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't so much my choice of inspiration. It was that my brother, he needed help in the front end. And he kind of said, well, help me with this. So that's how I started, jumped on it. And from there on has been more and more coding, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so I do want you to actually walk us through a typical day, I mean, in your current role,
Mhm.
just walk us through it. What's a typical day for you like?
Would it be okay if I go through first a more normal job that I held, which I wouldn't say it's my current one, but like a more standard workflow that I had before?
Okay, yeah, that'd be alright. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do, I mean, I would like to talk about full-time employment because I
Mhm.
think it's different. What I'm doing right now is not full-time. But with the full-time employment, I did work with Angular for a lot of the part, and I was in a startup. And yeah, it was a lot more responsibility, obviously, in the startup. But I was working 8 hours a day remotely with a small team, and it was just me and another developer handling the front end. But there was few years ago. Now the last year, what I am doing is part-time employment, which is it can vary between 4 and 5 hours a day, but I am combining that with doing the other activities that I'm doing. Providing mentorship sessions takes time. Working on open source takes time. So at the time being, it actually works out nicer for me to combine that. Well, actually, that's the only way I can make it possible right now to devote the time. But what I'm doing right now is I am a full stack developer. I'm still the person who makes the decisions when it comes to what happens in the front end, but I do collaborate with other people that make decisions. It's
Okay.
not only up to me. Again, it's a small team, very small team of people, but we change based on projects. So I do work with different technologies. I'm not working strictly with Angular, I'm working with PHP, with JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, with Python sometimes. It really MySQL, then Postgres. It's very, very versatile,
Yeah.
which I also think I like a lot.
I mean, that's absolutely nice. So, I mean, talking about front end and back end, you actually do both. So, here's a question for you: which do you prefer if you were given the choice to actually stay somewhere for a particular, job or build?
I don't actually have a personal preference. The
Okay.
only thing is that I am faster. I'm
Yeah.
much faster on the front end. So, I mean, my progress is just more speedy. So, for example, something to finish it in the front end, if I have a day, I will progress a lot faster. With the back
Absolutely.
end, is still like, I mean, it's just not as speedy. For example, with CSS and things like that, I mean, I'm pretty speedy with that, but as a personal preference, I cannot say that I prefer one over the other.
Oh
The
yeah.
only thing I
Okay.
do prefer is to have the option to not be locked in one position, because I have been kind of locked as a front end, and it's very difficult for me to know that I can help with like creating an endpoint that will actually help me progress faster. But if I'm not able to do that, that does create a difficulty for me. I like
Yeah.
to help where I can help.
Talking about there, something, they are creating a difficulty for you. Let's talk about overcoming challenges, and I do want you to talk about um what has been your most challenging project, right? Tell me about it
Mhm.
and tell me about what you learned from it.
Oh, wow. Honestly, you're asking someone who has completed, like as in number of projects, I have completed something around 200.
Let's
So it is
go.
very difficult for me to
Okay.
pinpoint a challenge. But I would say, again, this is a little bit outside of the realm of web development. I think the challenging thing is when I am working with a remote server and
Oh yeah.
the remote server doesn't accept Node.js, for example. That
Okay.
can be quite time consuming and challenging.
Yeah.
Let me think about, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are challenges every day. Of course, there are things that just don't work out the way you expect or you want, or like they work out for the most part, 80% as you want, but there is something
Mhm.
little that you didn't oversee. And obviously, with every application as it grows, there are new things that we need to tackle. But I cannot pinpoint something recently that was. Let me just try and remember. I think the most challenging recent was a little bit of dealing with very, very legacy code. And eventually, after me insisting, we did agree that it's time to just update it to a bit more modern technology instead of just what I
Okay.
had was like a file with 9,000 lines of JavaScript. And I mean, we had two options, either to go through it like
Yeah.
line by line to see
Yeah.
what we need to get rid of, or basically the other suggestion was to comment out things and see when it doesn't break, which would have taken a lot of time. While my
Okay.
suggestion was let's not do this to ourselves. Let's just, if we
Hmm.
know that there is a better solution out there, like a modern framework, let's just go with that. And after a
Absolutely.
little bit of insisting, we did agree with that.
Yeah.
And I know it was the right choice because this particular one, it actually had a lot of integrated hidden code in there. So I knew that taking it away from this code, it actually eventually worked out a lot better because
Oh
now it's
yeah.
our own without hidden things in there that are
Yeah.
we don't want.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one. How do you actually stay ahead in tech? Let's talk about, let's talk about that part.
Mhm. Well, first of all,
How do you stay
tell me
updated?
what you
Yeah,
Updated.
updated.
Well, with me is like, I mean, it's very difficult to stay updated on everything. That's what I would, that's what I would say. What I try to do is pick one or two primary technologies which I stay updated to, and those are the ones that I'm most passionate about. And for me, there will be Angular for the front end, and then C Sharp for the back end. There isn't, well, and .NET MAUI, of course, which is in the .NET family. There isn't like a specific reason logical behind it. I just
Okay.
feel drawn towards them and
Oh
I
yeah.
like them.
Yeah. All right, that's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. So here's something actually beautiful. What advice would you give to someone just starting out their career in tech? This is something that a lot of people probably looking forward to. I mean, the answer you're gonna give right now is gonna transform lots of lives and give people direction. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually do like that. I recently did start giving out mentorship sessions. It was this
Oh,
year. And I do enjoy that. And a lot of the people that joined us, I do provide free mentorship sessions. They are limited, but they are free exactly because I do want to help people as much as I can. You know, I'm not the know-it-all person, but I do want to provide help as much as I can. And
yeah.
a lot of people do ask that during the sessions. And my answer is always just start with just getting a bit of clarity as in what you want to achieve, what is your path. Try not to listen to other people because there is no recipe. You know, someone may be happy doing this, some other person may be happy doing that, but with me, I know that I am happier as a part-time worker than I ever was as a full-time worker. So I would say, like, first of all, just to get a clear clarity on where they want to be. Do they want to be a part-time worker? Do they want to be a full-time worker? Do they want to work in the front end? Or maybe like me, they don't want to be like, constrained in that way. I also do give them, another advice to start working in open source if they can, because that can mimic the collaborative environment that they will get in a workplace. Because now looking back, it's I do maintain open source projects, and the collaborative environment that we have there is very similar to other ones that I had in a workplace. So yeah, it really depends on what they want to achieve. But I usually, that's why I do kind of more personal things, because I don't think that it's one answer that I can give that can work out for everyone. And that's why I try to adjust to what people are looking for.
All right, that's really good. That's still nice. I do love it. Let's talk
Mhm,
about. Here's a question that I'm thinking about it, but I know lots of people out there they
mhm,
want to hear your thoughts on it. I do want to know, have you
mhm.
ever experienced imposter syndrome? There's a lot going on, there's a lot you got to do and stuff like that. If you ever did, how did you overcome it?
With me, it's fluctuating. I think it's yeah, I have good days and I have bad days. I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, it's not like a steady thing. It's not like I can say, oh, I have no imposter syndrome
Hmm.
anymore. It does creep in. It does come back. It's just that you can have a longer time without it or a shorter time without it, but
Hmm.
it does find its way there. And I think that depending on the situation, there are situations that can induce it more, obviously, and there are other situations that help you not feel it as strong, but it is always there. I mean, I can't say that it has been like completely gone. I don't think that it's, as a rational person, you can not experience imposter syndrome, because you always wonder whether what you did is the best implementation of
Uh,
anything possible. So
yeah,
I think that the thing that I do is, if I have it really bad, like some days, if I have it really bad, I like to create for myself smaller challenges like, coding task or something little that I know that I will solve, like solve
yeah,
a little bug here. And I know that solving this bug makes me feel like a better developer. So I just complete few of those and I feel better about it. I mean,
yeah.
this is how I don't think you can prevent it, but you can balance it with everything else as
Absolutely,
well.
absolutely balance it. I love
Yeah.
that. All right, that's really good. Let's talk about emerging, technologies. What emerging technology are you most excited about? I mean, we could go wild here, right? Talk about AI, talk about whatever it is you've got to talk about. So tell me about the emerging technology right now you're excited about.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be part of this contemporary world if I don't say AI. But not exactly AI. Okay, not
Okay.
chatbots, things like that.
All right.
It's mostly the perspective of being able to integrate that into my websites and deliver better service for the client. So I don't
Mm.
imagine, like, just me being a user of a chatbot. I imagine bringing that service to people and saving them time, making their life better. So this is something I'm excited about, not the whole craziness, like, and everything. I just want to think about more practical ways to like save time and just make daily tasks easier, or anything if I can make it easier and save people time and things like that. But yeah, I think that right now that's the one that it's out for everyone. Everyone is on the AI wave.
All right. That's really good. So let's talk about what soft skills do you think are crucial for success in the tech industry? Can you?
It
Yeah.
depends what you define as soft skills, because I have heard some people, and
Okay.
it's a peculiar one for me.
Yeah.
Some people think that problem solving is a soft skill. I don't agree with that. I don't exactly agree that problem solving is a soft skill, but I would say, yeah, I mean, communication. Communication is for everything, and being open minded. I think that's something that can help anyone, and I try to do it myself. Well, I don't actually have any I think that just being grounded, just like not expecting too much from yourself, not expecting too much from everyone around, just remembering that we are all people, we make mistakes, it's fine. Don't have too high expectations, and communicate your what you want to achieve just in a more friendly way. I think that's always a nice thing to add to uh, what you bring in when you're going to a new workplace.
All right. That's really good. So let's talk about what is the most valuable piece of career advice you've ever received. That's probably gonna be a little bit motivational, inspirational, but I mean, just a line you might actually talk about right now could spark something in someone. So probably a mentor that you had that said something that you captured and has been, that stirred up a lot of passion, whatever inside of you. And I just wanna know that the most valuable piece of career advice you've ever received that you'd love to share here.
I am sorry to disappoint over here. Even though I have possibly received over the years, there is nothing that actually stands out for me,
Oh
like as
yeah.
in clear. I didn't actually have a structured mentor ever, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I want to provide mentorship, because like I'm
Oh
thinking
wow.
I want
That's
to be
nice.
there for people.
Yeah.
With me, it wasn't so positive. I gotta say. I mean, throughout the years. It's not like I received anything that helped me a lot to build myself up and to carry on. I did have advice. I did have people helping me through it, like in my hard times. But um, I think that it was more about just them being there and telling me that they believe in me. That actually had the
Oh,
most
that's
impact.
really
It
good.
wasn't like a
Yeah.
specific line that they said. It was, for me, it was enough to know. Oh yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, when someone is saying something positive about my work, that's
Yeah.
very, very valuable. So I did value things like that. It wasn't a specific phrase or recipe or something to follow, but it was just
Okay.
people showing support. And they were yeah, a few people that I really appreciate for the support that they showed me throughout the years.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love it. All right, let's talk about tell me, how do you see the role of AI and machine learning actually shaping the future of tech jobs in today's day and age?
Mhm. I had my ups and downs with that too. There was a
Okay.
moment when I was like really scared about it. I was actually, with the first thing, when I mean, just considering so many possibilities and not knowing what's going to happen, like the fear of the unknown. So at first, I think I was very, very scared of like what it can happen, what it can
Oh
be.
yeah.
Now I think that I'm a lot more comfortable and a lot more in a place where I see AI changing the role of the software engineer, but I don't think that it's going to be in a negative way, as a lot of people are trying to make it
Absolutely.
me.
Absolutely.
I actually, yeah, I actually feel it's, I mean, just because with me also the everyday use, it is speeding up my work. It is helping me. I mean, obviously there are certain tasks that I can delegate to AI that, and it has a gap. Like there is only that much that it can do. But
Yeah.
thankfully, it is the most boring stuff that it can do. Most boring stuff that I wouldn't want to do myself
Yeah.
anyways. Like things like generating regex, things
Yeah.
like like syntax, and it is annoying to be honest with you if I'm working with JavaScript and now I need to switch to Python and things like that. So it does help me with that, just like basic syntax when I need
Yeah.
to switch with projects or even with the legacy code when I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the older one will help me just modernize it a little bit here and there. So with those mundane tasks, actually, I am happy to have the AI doing that for me because
Yeah.
that frees me up to do the other things that AI cannot do. For example, AI right now doesn't handle context very well. It doesn't understand the relation between the components that I have there or
Yeah.
services or whatever is going on. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for ChatGPT to take on all the boring syntax and memorization stuff, and that frees me time to be more creative, gives me more time to be more creative, work
Yeah.
on a higher level things that AI cannot do right now. And I honestly don't think that AI will be taking over on that parts for the next few years. So I
All
think
right.
we are safe in that matter.
It's absolutely very good.
Mhm,
Let's talk about this. Balancing
mhm.
work and life. I mean, tech can be demanding, right? How do you maintain a balance between your professional life and your personal well-being or personal life?
This one I also had ups and downs with. I no, with the full-time job is difficult, and I
Mhm,
have had employers that wanted me to work extra overtime,
mhm.
and there have been times in my life where I actually felt okay with that. So I said okay, but at some point it became just too much work to the point that like I almost don't know who I am if I'm not a developer. It's just, and this is
Oh
the point
yeah.
when I realized that it's just way too much. Like I shouldn't
Oh.
carry on like that
Oh yeah.
because I do have a family. I am a parent, and
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a lot of, things going on. But
Yeah.
you gotta be careful because it's very easy in that job to get to allow it to swallow you in a sense, because that's what I felt like. I felt like everything I do is development a little bit more, and that's why I think that's another reason why now I feel that I should remain within the 5 or 4 hours a day because it's kind of I'm kind of catching up like just to catch up for that time that I just feel it was disbalanced for a bit, but
Yeah.
it is something that you gotta keep on track and just be aware of what's going on because I wasn't aware of it
Yeah.
until yeah, I wasn't aware of it happening until one day I realized, well, wait a second, what am I doing if I'm not coding? I mean, aside from personal life, it just, yeah, other activities. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Okay. Well, that's
yeah.
that's that's good. All right. So let's talk about this. It's a little bit unorthodox, right? Just
Mhm,
slightly unusual to ask. But when you look
mhm,
back on your career someday, what do you
mhm.
what do you see? How do you hope your legacy would look like? You know,
Oh, that's an interesting one.
that's an interesting
Um,
one, yeah.
Yeah, because we can either think about it as in the body of work that I leave, or the message, or like something like that. So to me, there are two separate things. Like I would like to leave, like as in the pure code and technical thing. Obviously, will be one thing, but more than that, I kind of like to, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make a change, but I like to think that I want to make that what I'm doing is making a little change. I am very passionate about women in tech and supporting other
Oh
women in
yeah.
tech. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just as equally important to me as like creating an app that can save the world, but things like that. But I do feel like on a more realistic level, I feel that I'm capable of supporting other women in tech and hopefully just helping them go through certain situations which I have experienced and I
Yeah.
know they're difficult. and I just kind of want to be there for them. So even just doing that over the years, that is very, very powerful to me, and it means a lot. And I try to continue on that path and provide as much support as I can, because I mean, yeah, it means a lot to me. And the other one is in body of work. I mean, ideally, I would like to create some substantial software that does benefit the world in a positive way. It doesn't have to be anything major or big, but as long as I know that there are users there that are benefiting from that, I think I'd be satisfied with that.
That's absolutely good. I love it. I mean, that's great. That's really great. Innovation is a
Yeah.
buzzword, talking about innovation right now. And it can be challenging, to achieve, in some
Mm.
sense. How do you actually approach innovation in your work, and what's your process, behind bringing new ideas to life, with other things that going on and stuff like that? Do you have any special strategies or just some unique process behind actually bringing forth new ideas to life? Let's talk about your innovation processes.
I wouldn't say, I mean, with a small team, there isn't a process because there aren't that many people that need to approve it. I can imagine with a bigger team, you should probably have a presentation and outline why you feel that this is the best approach. But with me, it's like a simplified version of that. I do outline my reasons behind it. I am a firm believer that as technology evolves, we should try at least to evolve with it, not to
Yeah,
stay too far behind. So one of the things is that, I mean, there are people still not sure whether they should integrate AI or like a ChatGPT and things like that. When again, I would be someone who would be promoting that, not excessively. Of course, there is a sensible way in incorporating it, but I don't exactly think that having offices where ChatGPT is completely disallowed or any other AI is completely disallowed. I feel like this is potentially not moving forward enough. I mean, because this is happening around us, and I just, for me, the main thing is to keep on track, just stay current with what's going on. But in terms of strategy, yeah, I would first of all decide whether it is the right choice, and then if I do think it's the right choice, I will make a mini presentation or something like that, just to share that view with the other people. Then we'll make a decision together.
all right, that's really good. Let's talk about your favorite tech tools and gadgets. I mean, you probably might have some that you might want to share, right? So, what are favorite apps, gadget tools, and stuff, that you some sort cannot do without?
Okay. Let me just think about my daily use. I mean, obviously, here we're with Git and GitHub. I always obviously use that one.
Uh-huh.
Visual Studio Code all the
Yeah.
time. And then
Let's go.
aside from that,
Okay.
I think there are like the productivity ones. I'm pretty sure there are several productivity apps. But I mean, I'm kind of gonna plug in, but it's like productivity app that basically it's a visual bookmark placer. So I have my screen with like visual bookmarks. So I just easier navigation between all the
Oh yeah.
things that I have. 'Cause you have a lot of tabs open, but it's easier to find them. So I have like one page for, let's say, anything coding related, and another tab in a page for other things. And they're just like quick links, but
Yeah.
visualized in a way that I
Oh
can access
yeah.
them faster. And then another thing that I do a lot is like, I mean, aside from GitHub and writing issues there, I do use a lot of tools like Jira and ClickUp and things like that,
Oh
because
yeah.
I write a lot of the,
Do you also use
uh,
Asana? It sounds
very,
strange, does it? But you know Trello,
no, no, they sound familiar, but I don't actually use them daily.
but definitely
They
you know
sound very
Notion.
familiar. Yeah, yeah, I have
Yeah,
used this one. Yeah, yeah,
Notion.
for
All
a
right.
while. Those were
So
for like kind of note-taking stuff, I think, as far as I remember.
okay. There's also Trello. There's also Asana. But of course we've got ClickUp and all the rest. Jira. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for
I
it.
don't know. I think that with ClickUp, I think that the ones that you referenced there, I don't know actually how they work together, but the thing with ClickUp is like mostly like Jira, and
Oh yeah.
basically I
Yeah.
can I can separate them by project.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have active like on a daily basis. I have about 20 projects, and I need to know the tasks that I'm lining up for
That's
which
right.
project it is.
That's right.
So that's why I use ClickUp and things
Yeah.
like that, because otherwise, yeah, it can be confusing.
All right, so let's talk
Yeah.
about leadership. I mean, thank you for that. That's really good.
Mhm.
Someone is gonna take, some notes off of that. In
Cool, cool.
leadership in tech or team dynamics, let's talk about that. In tech, working with teams is essential, right? And what's your
Mhm.
leadership style, and how do you foster collaboration and innovation within your teams?
Okay. Well, I am not proactive leadership role seeker.
Okay.
I have said that many times. I am super, super happy to be an individual contributor. That
Oh
is my
yeah.
path. If I have a choice, I'll be just an individual contributor. I don't feel happy and comfortable being the one to lead the team. However, if they depend on me and if I actually like the job, obviously I will raise to the occasion and I will help because there it's in my mind it's not like I'm leading them because I'm the leader. Leading them because that job needs to be done and someone needs to do it and I
Yeah.
can do it. So,
Okay.
but it wouldn't be something that I deliberately go for. I
Oh
more
yeah.
kind of like just let's figure out what we're doing, give me my job and I will just go do it. I don't see leadership yeah presence at all.
All right, here's the final question for yeah. Let's talk about the next big leap. I want to know, if there's any upcoming projects, anything that's just super exciting you want to share with the audience today. What's your next big leap?
Oh, like as in my project.
Yeah, something
Or
probably the public don't know about that you might want to share right now, but it's some sort of upcoming, but it's some sort of like the next big thing that's in your path right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am kind of in between so many projects. I think that's a thing for me because I don't really stay focused on one for too long. So,
Okay.
what was I working on? That's the thing. I even have to like try and remember because I have about 10 projects now on rotation. So,
You
I mean,
do.
yeah, I don't think there is one. I mean, and the thing is that they're not at a phase where I can actually share them. But I think that what I'm going to do mostly is probably focus on open source a little bit more, just like to consolidate the projects that I have over there, just to make it more easier. Because for the most part, people do go there to get more familiar with working with Angular, but I do want to offer other options, and I think I might be doing more of my personal side of things will be more geared towards open source
Mhm.
and just organizing my open source projects right now.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I
been
do have personal projects, but they are just not at a production ready stage yet.
hopefully
Yeah,
very soon they are gonna get there, right?
they are getting there. It's just, I mean, there is another thing, okay? Like,
Okay.
my concern is that I do have some ideas that are innovative and things like that. And, you gotta be careful when you do that because as soon as you come up with something, I mean, if it is a good idea, someone else will replicate it.
That's right.
And the thing that is holding me back right now is that I am not ready for when that happens. I wouldn't know how I want to approach it,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to prepare myself because, like, yeah, I have been told that by other developers also. It is a thing. If it is a good idea, expect that it will be replicated. And the problem is if you have like a bigger company that replicates it, and they have the finance and they have, you know, ways to market it better, then I don't want to be just like kind of like I don't want to get caught in all of that. That's
Oh
this
yeah.
basically.
I get it. I get it. I mean, I said that was the last question though, but from what you said right now, I do want to know when you get an idea, ideas
Hmm.
come to you all the time, right? Probably not all the time, but most of the time you getting this new idea. I want to do this. How about could we solve this problem in the world? Could we build an app for this? Could we build a product for this? When those
Hmm.
ideas come to you, actually, do you write them down? Because I know it's like a flood. If
Hmm.
you're a developer, an engineer, you see
Hmm.
solutions a lot, right? So when those
Yeah.
ideas actually come to you, do you write them down? How do you track all of the beautiful things coming to you?
Yeah, that is actually a very, very good question. And I gotta say, It's not only like the innovative ideas. Sometimes I see a broken website and I'm like, okay, I can actually make a better version of that one that is not
Oh
broken.
yeah.
And those are ideas also, and I can tell you I got a lot of those also, and I gotta kind of hold myself back so I don't just like spit out something that I know that I can do. This is what I use actually exactly ClickUp for,
Oh
because I
yeah.
have divided them on different lists, and I have incorporated ways of just like because I have different projects that are personal but I am planning to monetize, projects that are open source, and so I divide them by types of projects. So I do have like a different category for whatever I'm doing. But yeah, I do have a lot of categories, and then also I have the YouTube videos, which I also have in the same list. So it does make it really easy for me and accessible to have everything there. And then with everyone, I have a subcategory with like planning further steps.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I love it. Great.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I actually do ask all the guests that actually come on the podcast to come on the
Mhm.
channel this question. Are you subscribed to the channel?
I will subscribe to the channel, sure,
All
of
right.
course.
Could you
That's
actually?
actually is it okay if I borrow that from you? Because I don't actually ask my guests. Is it okay if I borrow
Yeah.
that from
Yeah.
you
That's
and I'm
that's totally fine.
behind it? Cool. I like
Totally
that.
fine.
Yeah, I never actually thought of it, but that's a good thing to like. It makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense
it
if you're a guest
does.
in the show. It's like I think it's a polite thing to do, but I don't know about my guests. I gotta check. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh my
But
god,
yeah.
this is so fun. Sure, of course, you could do
Mhm,
that. All right, so could you
mhm.
also tell our audience to subscribe to the channel and like the video? I'm gonna put, so you're gonna look into the camera. I'm gonna switch it over to you right now. It's all you.
Hi, I'm Esty. Welcome to Joshua Chris channel. It'll be great if you subscribe, and I hope you like the videos over here.
Let's go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Did you have a great time today?
Yes. Yeah. That was very, very enjoyable, and your questions were great. Really. I mean,
I
I enjoyed
appreciate that.
them.
I
They got
appreciate
me
that.
thinking, and they were all interesting. So that was cool.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of the interview today. I do want to say thank you, Esther. Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for your time. I totally appreciate it. And the answers you gave, absolutely loved it. So insightful, inspirational, and full of motivation, like the springs in your steps. So thank you again for coming on here. I totally appreciate it. If you ever you want me to do something like this on your channel or whatever, let me know. And maybe sometime we could talk about something else, a particular topic you're interested in, something like that. I do
Mhm,
want to say again,
mhm,
thank you. Thank you,
mhm.
Esther.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really, really happy to be here, and I enjoyed it. It was very nice talk, chat. you know,
All right.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's all about it. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.